Welcome to the Honest Truth Podcast, where I allow everyone to speak their truth. What's poppin', you guys? Welcome back to the Honest Truth Podcast. I'm your host, Kelly Sweet. This is a super exciting episode because I have my friends in the building.
What?
So, okay, we're going to start right here and then just introduce yourself.
For sure.
Tell them what you do.
Well, I'm Reed Shannon, activist, entertainer, burning philosopher, actor,
comedian,
singer,
secretly.
a comedian,
songwriter.
I try. Just lover of life. I know Kelly from way back. We go way back.
Yeah,
guys.
we go way back.
Me and Kelly are old pals.
Some of the viewers might remember.
Yes.
The YouTube
back
days.
back
Yeah.
when YouTube was up. Up. We was up with it.
Yes.
And yeah, this is. She'll introduce herself, but that's my best friend, lady.
Right, my best friend, my partner in life. My name is Dajuel. I'm a singer, songwriter, musician, and also a student of life.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
I know that's right. Well, thank y'all for pulling up on me.
Thank you for having us.
We got so much to discuss, but before we really get into tea and what y'all got going on, I want to start with a few icebreakers. Mm-hmm. So, this one's a little deep. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Somebody just asked me this.
Really?
Really?
I feel like this is a hard question.
It is a hard
I
question.
don't even know. Maybe I can learn something from y'all.
For me, it was on my birthday this last year. I was told to stop trying to dictate what God has planned for me. Stop trying to plan ahead of God's plan. I found myself in a place where I just wanted to be so ready and so, available. And I wanted to pre-plan and be like, oh, it would be dope. I get an audition. Oh, it would be dope if I did this. And then I can,
Calculating.
and then I have blown myself because I made such an expectation, and God's plan will always prevail. So it's like, why do I have to worry about something that's already happening,
And I feel like that's good advice because I would say us being entertainers, I feel like we all kind of deal with okay, knowing we're blessed with this gift, we have this gift, but also battling with okay, when is it going to happen to the extreme that I want it to happen? Right. And so that's some good advice because sometimes I be having to tell myself you need to slow down, whatever and whenever is going to happen on God's time, not my time.
Yeah.
What I was going to say, it's kind of similar to what you said, but I think it was that not to take life too seriously. I always have been one of those people who is I'm trying to pre-prepare for everything. I'm just a very well put together person. I like for everything to just be very organized, even in my house, my space, whatever. But I'm really learning you just can't do that. You got to just take life step by step, and roll with it. You know what I'm saying?
It's so hard. I'm working on that every year.
It is. And nobody prepares you for how hard it really is. Nobody told me for real. I feel like I'm still a baby. It's weird. But
I've realized I feel as though I've been having a lot of really human experiences in the past few weeks. And I'm just realizing that this whole human experience is built up in turmoil so that we can come out on the other side. It's like ever evolving character building.
It is.
And
it should be though.
As you get
Everybody
older, people either take it oh man, I'm struggling for the rest of my life, or they take it and they're like, all right, I'm not gonna let nothing knock me down.
Yeah. That's what I'm learning, optimism these days, because I'm I need to be more optimistic because if I'm settling mentally where I'm at and I'm this is just where I'm at and I'm all stressed about it, it's how can you live a happy life if you're not optimistic? That's the point of the journey. Right. And so, man, I can totally relate, y'all. Especially being a new mom now.
No, seriously.
I can talk about that for hours.
Man.
He's the most optimistic person ever.
Chris is too.
Yeah.
But I feel
that's why me and Chris get along, because it's just we both.
Y'all are so positive.
Positive. I never hear him say bad, and it's really changed my life because my mom is one of those people too. She's just really optimistic, And I used to just kind of, when I was upset, I would just stay upset. I'm upset for the whole day. Somebody pissed me off.
You just got an attitude from
for no
noon
reason.
to
And
night.
I really realized why does everybody deserve to be having a bad day because I'm having a bad day. Why should, because I'm pissed off or something, I gotta make Reed have a bad day? That's just, and like you said, if you're thinking about that, it doesn't make the situation better. You know what I'm saying? It just kind of makes you really manifest it. Really, you sitting and you thinking about something negative, and now that's all you attracting.
And then your person don't really want to be around.
Man.
You got an attitude. It's like, go in the room or something. Because you're bleeding into my world.
It's like everything bad happens when you think about something bad. So, you know, you having a pissed off, you late, somebody pissed you off, you running out the door, and now all of a sudden your jacket caught on the doorknob. You can't find your earrings.
You're like, what is
going on? But have you noticed that when you having a good day and you thinking about good stuff and you playing music, everything is going well? And like people are coming up to you and just being like, oh, you look so nice today. And it's, you attracting that though, you know?
That is
true.
Your energy is
your
perceived
energy
by the world, not just by
and people can see that.
Yeah.
People can see, well, you know, people who have good discernment can see that. They can tell, you know.
Even people with like wicked discernment. Because,
I
mean, not to be real, like it's people, especially in this industry, who like see that and just try and
but that's why that's really good that you and Chris are optimistic, just in the field that y'all are in, because acting is not my thing. Never could be, never will be. But you gotta have no.
You could be a star.
No.
I would like to hope so one day, but you gotta know your strong suits. I don't know. It looked too hard for me.
I'm like, and you gotta have a backbone. You gotta stay positive because the way it's chaotic every day on set can be me personally. All right, y'all. Let's move on to the next one. So, what is y'all's favorite book or movie, and why do you guys like it so much? Or what are you reading currently?
I'm reading, I think I was reading this last time I saw you too, but I like flip-flop between a few. But the one I'm reading right now is called Power of the Subconscious Mind. And it kind of goes into exactly what we was just talking about, like law of attraction.
Who is that
by? I want to say it's Joseph Murphy or something like that. Joseph Murphy. I hope I'm not messing that up. This man deserves his credit.
I know that's right. We'll put it on the screen.
Yeah, but it's like about law of attraction. It's just the things that you want to happen in your life, you can create. Your life is so moldable. And I think people really don't understand how moldable life is. You can create life into anything you want to be. You can create yourself or your situation into anything you want to be with just your mind. Just your mind, just your thoughts.
That's
and what you
really
say out
good.
loud.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm reading this book. Well, first, backstory. I was scrolling on TikTok and I seen this video of this girl. She was like laid out in the middle of New York City, just like laying there. And some lady was recording her and she was like, hey, like, why are you laying there? Like, are you good? And she was like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm reading this book called Not Nice. And it's forcing me to not care about what people think. So I have to stay here for 10 minutes and just lay here for no reason and just like deal with the pressure of people talking about her like she crazy and all this stuff. So that made me literally download this book. I do audio reads now because I don't have time, you know. So when I'm cleaning stuff,
you're holding babies and
and like literally juggling bottles.
It's hard to flip pages when you gotta.
They're holding babies. Don't let him talk about you.
One baby. But this book is changing my life because I feel like a lot of the decisions I would make would be based off of me worried about how other people are going to think or feel. And there's a difference between, like, people say the word nice, but you don't, the perspective to other people might be, oh, she's mean because she doesn't want to show up or she doesn't want to do it or I'm tired. But it's like, you don't have to be nice. Like, you can live your truth. And so the book is eating down.
No, that's
download it.
That's good. Real. I'm kind of in that space. I want to check that out because
I want to read it.
You know, for me, I'm becoming a man, you know, and just like going through those loopholes of trying to figure out where to assert myself. And you've known me since I was a kid. Like I've been the type of person to sort of just take the back seat and observe more than assert, you know, because I realized in some scenarios, some people's assertion hurt other people. I never knew where that laid with me. And now it's like, I feel bad because the other night we ordered something in and the delivery guy, he was cool, but I was really like, I want to practice just like being whatever.
Don't tell me you was rude.
I wasn't. Well, I feel like I was rude. I feel like I was rude. Like he phone. He called me on the phone. He was like, "Hey, I'm here," and I was like, "Yeah."
And that's rude to him.
That's
rude.
No. It goes on. And he was like, "I can't hear you." I was like, "I'm coming." I I was just straight up. And so I got to the gate.
But that's not rude.
And then he passed me the bag, and I could see him trying to like smile on my face, but I had my hood on, and I was just like, thanks. I turned and went.
What would
and
be the other scenario if you didn't do it like that?
The other scenario, normally I'll just be like, yeah, thank you. Like, and really try and connect
really
with
nice.
his spirit.
He's overly nice.
But you know what I feel? I think the world makes you act ugly.
Yeah,
but like
it does.
When I think of Jesus, do y'all watch The Chosen?
Yeah.
When I think of Jesus, I always tell Chris, I'd be like, little specks of how Jesus acted, like you have that. Like, why take away that niceness? Now, I think there is moments where you do gotta kind of be a little tough or speak up in a way, but it's also always a way to do that. But I don't think you should take away that part of you.
I don't think so either.
It's so funny you say that. I just have 2 points. As soon as I turned around, I was like, what if that guy was Jesus, bro? Like really, or an angel, and that was like, just, I'm dramatic, but that was the Lord testing me. Will you be nice to everybody? But second point, like you were saying, I was just listening to Mark Driscoll. He's a pastor from Kentucky or something like that. Really, really dope guy. And he was talking about Jesus in terms of manhood. And he was saying, nobody likes an indifferent man. An indifferent man is how we got the curses from Adam and Eve, because he was standing right there, but he didn't say anything. He didn't say, serpent, no, who are you? Stay away from my wife. He didn't say anything, and that's how we ended up in the predicaments that we're in. But furthermore, Jesus was a lion when he had to be, and a lamb when he had to be.
Right, because Jesus flipped over that table.
He but then he was
moments.
Playing with kids and teaching them how to build.
And that's what I was gonna say. I think it's about balance. I don't think that you should lessen or water down and that's something I'm working on, because people think I can be abrasive, or like I have a strong personality. You know what I mean? But I'm really practicing not watering myself down, but also just finding that middle ground, because I think you're an amazing person. I think you're a really sweet person, but I've seen situations where you're like, I wish I was more assertive, and I think that that's just one of those things that I can't really help you with. I'm not a man.
No.
But I also
I'm not a
think
man.
What's cool about it is because I'm a little more like you, right? Chris is a little more like you. And so the balance is perfect because you can check me when it's like, you didn't have to come at it like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Or you can help him when it's like, you could have maybe, you know what I mean?
And that's exactly what it is.
And that's good
exactly
though,
how it
because
is.
I would say, like, from my experience, I've learned a lot. Like, I've definitely piped down with my mouth and just how I come at situations. And I've learned over these past years grace. Like, that was something that I would not give people.
We were just talking about that.
Really?
On the way here. That's so
Wow.
ironic that you say that, because I was just saying that there's like, I would get frustrated with people for doing stuff, and then when I would do it, I'd be like, oh, but that's not normally how I am. Like, that's out of character. I just had to do this because blah, 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 blah. But it's like, I can make an excuse for myself or a reason for myself, but I can't find that grace for other people. What if they just cut you off in traffic because they got an emergency going on, and I'm really just getting in this space where I'm like, yo, we're all living this experience. We're all trying to be human. We all trying to make it work. Then nobody has to be here.
It's tough. And it's hard.
And it is hard.
And it's
hard.
hard. Like,
But
we got bills. We got taxes.
you know.
I'm sorry. I just said the N word. I don't know.
No,
I said it under
y'all
my breath.
bleeping on this show or what?
Right. I just didn't know if that was okay.
No, literally, you can say whatever you want.
What was that video? Chance the Rapper was like, oh, cool. Yeah, so I was in the motherfucker. Like, that was crazy.
He's like, oh, loosen up.
Right.
Let me take my coat off. All right, y'all. So let's move into the stuff that is going on in this generation.
Okay.
I feel like the top number one thing that I see a lot on the internet is just dating. Everybody wants love.
Right.
Everybody wants a relationship. But it doesn't really seem like there's a lot of successful stories that people share. I feel like they always highlight the negative part of it all. Yeah. So
it's almost like it's getting worse.
It is, right?
Yeah, I'm so glad not to be outside.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, like, how was y'all's experience when you were dating? Like,
man.
what was that like?
Well, it's the honest truth. I unfortunately racked up like a reputation about myself because I was so tolerant for people's energies and I was so willing with mine, that it just, as you get older, we start to do different things, and it turned into something that I didn't want any piece of by the time I gained some sense about myself, you know? And so it was like saving grace for being with her, you know, not even just in a romantic type of way, but just in a developmental type of way. Like I needed to have a friend that wasn't trying to push me towards the streets, because if I had gone that way then, I don't know where I'd be right now, you know, like definitely not as accomplished or as focused, you know.
But see, Reed, just how you give grace to other people, it's like you also have to give grace to yourself. Right. Because when I look at some of the mistakes that I made when I was single and dating and stuff, like a lot of things that I'm embarrassed about or was embarrassed about, but I had to, one, forgive myself and give myself the grace because, one, my age, like we're so young, like we were thrusted into environments at a very young age. A lot of people didn't have discipline. Like at 18, to have discipline that we have now, and we're still all striving for even more because we're still young, it's like, it's unrealistic to put that pressure on yourself, right? Even a reputation or whatever, it's like anybody can look back at 18-year-old you and be like, he was 18.
And
you know,
anybody
like
who can't give me that grace is they got their own
process of like self-forgiveness, you know. But that's a part of the process of growing, you know. You have to learn to forgive your parents for what you feel like happened there. You have to learn to forgive yourself for the things that happened in that
weird,
forgive
yourself for the stuff that you're gonna do in the future, because you're gonna mess up some more. You know, you're learning. My experience, like before Reed, I didn't do a whole lot of dating for real. I did date, but I'm just one of those people who I really care more about self-work. And I think, I can't speak for everybody's experience, but I think that a lot of the times when I'm talking to my friends or when I'm talking to other people about dating, I'm like, they telling me the problems. I'm like, oh, the problem is you. You're the problem.
You be like, I have the answer.
You can't, I have the answer. It's you. You can't get in a relationship with somebody and expect to be equally yoked when you come and showing up with 25%. You haven't built yourself up enough to be, you want a partner, and it's just, you're not there yet. You're not there yet. You know?
That's what happens in the streets now. People be like, oh, I got 25. And another person be like, well, I got 10. But you fine though. You know? So like, we can get down, and then you in a toxic situation for like 6 months. You like,
I mean, honestly, I just truly be confused because I'd be like, what really going on? Because if I think back to when I was dating, like all the situationship stuff, all of that to me makes zero sense. Like I'm a person, you're either fully in or you're fully out.
Right.
We're not doing anything in between.
Yeah, and I think that also comes with self-respect. You respect yourself, and so you're able to be like, well, if you're not 100%, then I'm all the way out. You know, I see like a lot of people that are really close to me, they're in these situations where it's like, oh, he don't want to take me serious, but I'm gonna stick around because I like him. I don't like nobody enough that I will devalue myself. And I mean that on me. I don't like anybody enough that I would lessen myself or lessen my, you know, non-negotiables. And I think that's another thing. What are your non-negotiables?
And then it's like, then it becomes this bandwagon where it's like, oh, women ain't shit, niggas ain't shit type thing. But it's like, if we look at our actions, regardless of how another person acts or chooses to treat you, it's all boils down to what you decide to do or what you decide to subject yourself to on a daily basis. And so that's where I had to learn accountability. Like I used to love to be like, oh, he did me dirty, da 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 da. But I'm like, but girl, you chose. But
what did you do?
Chose.
What did you do?
You sure know how to pick them.
I'm like, where were you at though? How do you guys think social media has changed just being in a relationship, but also dating? Either way.
I think social media has, for a lack of a better term, removed authenticity out of dating. I think I wasn't there back in the day, but I'm sure when you ran into people, like, you know, how they talk about it. When you ran into people in the 80s, 90s, 70s, you got to think, like, you're meeting these people, you get to see who they are, and you get to really date them. And it's like, when you're meeting somebody on social media, you're meeting their representative. You're meeting the person that they kind of want to show the world a little bit. And so if you're doing the online thing, depending on how long you're doing it for, it's like, when do you really get a chance to see the person for real? You know what I mean?
It's true. Like it's so interesting. I got verified on IG in 2020 when I was like doing protest stuff. And until we got together shortly after that, and I didn't realize like what that looks like. You know, for me to be in likes or for me to, you know.
And mind y'all, this is before verification.
Right,
be
before you could buy it. That's why I prefaced it. Y'all, I don't pay for none of that. That's even my point. I wasn't even aware of how much
but
my
it does look crazy when it's like, 99,000 people in, man. And then he got the blue verification mark. Everybody can see you.
Everybody see you at the top, bro.
You know, no matter what your intention was or where your heart was when you liked it, because you could have just been like, oh, it's a yoga video, but it's a yoga video.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like,
everybody's perception is thrown on to whatever you see online, and so you just gotta assume it's gonna be taken anyway. You know, and I don't know, if you care about the person that you're with, you care about their perception of it more than anything. Like,
and I think that's the challenging part for the people who are in relationships. It's like we are all trying to figure out what is the fine line between respectful and disrespectful. Yeah. Because if I follow you, I could tell you why I'm following this person, but I don't know why I don't know what's in their head. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Right. And I feel like, I mean, that's for the relationship folks. Like, you really do have to have those kinds of conversations, especially when you are in entertainment or whatever it is. It's like, it's kind of like a like means something. Yeah. I don't know if you like it because it's your friend. I don't know if you like it because you like.
Just supporting. Like, it's
which one is the like?
Right.
I think that's why I was saying earlier that the non-negotiables are important when you get in a relationship, because it's like, when I got with Reed, I was like, here's my list of stuff that when you do this, you cross this line, I'm out of here. Yeah. Straight up. You know, and if somebody respects you, they're not going to cross that. If you're non-negotiable is, I don't like seeing my man in people likes, or I don't like seeing my man follow a whole bunch of da-da-da-da-da. Some people would say that that's not how I feel, but if that's how you feel, some people would say that could be controlling. But if that's genuinely like you're dealing with that, you're insecure about that, and your person that you with respects you enough, they're gonna see, oh, you're insecure about that. I'm gonna work with you on that.
And then if we're really thinking about it, like, a follow is nothing. Like, if me not following somebody is gonna make you feel better, like, who cares? We live in regular life. Like, it's really not that deep.
So
like,
it's not a real place.
It's not a real place.
Like, but I agree. One thing I will say when you were talking about non-negotiables, I think it's important to come with that first, because you can't
change it in the middle
and pretend like everything cool. And then
you can't.
The girl get 8, 9, or he get 10 months in, and now you saying you can't do A, B, C, D, E.
Right.
Right.
You can't wear your insecurities on your sleeve. You kind of have to, like, put them on a platter.
But even that could be difficult, because there's like, when you're growing, you're changing. Like, let's be real, there's things that are going to be different about us next year from now. So it's like, when you get in a relationship, you're changing, and so there's things that I was comfortable with when we got together that I'm just not comfortable with anymore.
Yeah, and then a lot of stuff. Sometimes it could have been because the person broke a boundary, or it could have been because you realized somebody couldn't handle the situation correctly. Like, it's ever changing.
Yeah. Honestly, with relationships from the jump, you kind of learn boundaries by them being broken almost. Like, I feel like a lot of the things that are solid foundation for us were mistakes that I made, and you know, really being honest and owning up to it, and being like, yo, like, I wasn't really even trying to do all that. I just, it's old ways, you know, like I have grace for myself. I understand if you can't, like, you know.
You know, with you though, because I know your heart and I know the type of person you are, you really are just such a sweet, like, he's a crybaby even. Like, he's a sweet guy.
All right.
Super optimistic. He's a crybaby. Like, you know.
I'm not all that.
You know, and so it's like, when he does do stuff, I'm able to give him more grace than I would other people sometimes. Yeah. Because I'm like, I genuinely know that
she's
you didn't have
type to
bad intentions.
Hear people out. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, she's very discerning. No. I mean, she's very discerning. Like, by the grace of God, she has a sharpshooter discernment. And so it's like, the fact that she gives me grace in some moments is so amazing, you know?
But I mean, that's how it should be, because when I think of the couples, like, for instance, Michelle Obama and Barack, like, she said that she literally hated him for, like, I think it was like 10 plus years. Yeah. And when I think of, like, some of the strongest couples and, you know, just the ones that stuck together the longest, it's not perfect. And I think that's where this generation kind of backs down, and they're like, oh, I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm not going to stick it out, because they don't want to face things that they have to fix within their self. Yeah. And it takes like a mirror. It's like a mirror effect. Like, when I see Chris, I have to see myself as well. And so if you're not able to take that mirror effect when you're dating or gonna, you know, when you're married, it's like, I don't know if you could last through the storm.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have to face your darkest demons.
Yeah. And somebody else is going to see it.
So
you
call you out on it.
Call you out on it, you know?
You can't hide.
That was not something I expected, like when I got into a relationship. I wasn't expecting to, I mean, we've been dating since we was like the end of high school type of thing, like 18, 19. But it's like I wasn't expecting to realize so much about myself, I guess. I felt like I've become so self-aware, especially this year, even more this year than ever before. But just this whole relationship, I realized so much stuff about myself that I don't think my sisters ever would have been able to teach me, or strangers, or my mom, my parents. Nobody would have been able to teach me some of the stuff that I've learned through you, you know?
And, you know,
That's
honestly, a lot of that was just us being around each other, you know, and my willingness to sort of like let that flow. I feel like a lot of dudes want to teach, you know, and want to control, and that's like their way of, you know, commanding respect or whatever. But I respect my life journey way far beyond what I can imagine, and so I can imagine that hers is probably just like that. You know, she's a little bit younger than me, not by much, like a year, but she's having experiences that I had last year, and so it's kind of cool to see that, and it takes the pressure off of like the romance of it all. It makes it better when we're able to grow.
I mean,
and
it really is meant to be a partnership. You know,
it is.
I think the mistake that a lot of people make is they kind of have this idea in their head, and I like to say that expectation really does kill joy. It kills what's really there. If you expect for something to go, if you expect to have a 10 out of 10, oh, he gonna do this, he gonna do that, you know, and then you meet somebody that's actually perfect for you, you are failing to see how perfect of a match it is because you think it's gonna look like something else. You know what I mean? And so it's like that expectation really can like strip away your ability to see what's right in front of you.
You also have to be like willing to grow through it, like you know, when those hard moments come and you're patient. Like, this was like a non-negotiable, but I understand it in a different way. You have to be willing to be like, okay, maybe I can understand this in a different way and make a different choice. You know, because that's like that excuse me, that's the key to growth right there. Like being in a obstacle and choosing a different choice just off of risk. You know,
and I think like finding a dynamic like that is hard. I don't know what advice I could give to the men and women out there right now that are struggling to find. One thing I would say for me, when I decided to let go and again throw out expectations, and like some people believe in like, oh, having a list of like the perfect guy that they want or the perfect girl. Like once I let go all of that, I just believe that's giving like God, for me, that's giving God room to work like in my life. Like if I'm trying to calculate and I'm always looking or searching for something, it's like 9 times out of 10, because I'm not the runner of my world. It's probably not gonna work.
There is no point of planning anything.
It's really no point. You're wasting your time.
You can make a little list of stuff that you would like, you know, for, you know, to speak it up and to like attract a certain type of energy. Purpose. You know what I mean? Like,
I believe mindset's everything.
Have a growth mindset.
Yeah, but to actually be like, this is what I want and I'm gonna make this happen. You can't do that. Like, and like you said, you're not giving God the space to make something happen. If you I think even is off topic just a little bit, when a lot of people came out here to LA, for instance, like you come out here and you're like, oh, I expect for this to happen and this to happen in this amount of time. And then you get smacked on your ass because you realize that's not how it go. You don't just get your way, right? But when you open yourself up to any opportunity and you're like, man, I'm just like, I want to be successful and I want to create art and I just want to be an artist, whatever that looks like. God make space for me to just be able to have opportunity, right?
That's how I rolled
the door's
up
gonna
on,
open.
That's how I rolled up on voiceover.
It don't have to look like how you want it to look like all the time, you know?
And then you just got to make sure that what I've learned is having mentors around me, having real friends around me who can tell me like, hey, something's kind of iffy with that person or whatever, you know, having that's really all you need.
Yeah, community.
Community. We were just talking about community. Like, what was that last week?
Yeah.
Because he was saying that he really does think that like you need a community. And I was like, I don't feel like you need a sense of community, I feel like, to some degree, but he's a people person. He's one of those people that's like, oh, I can have 100 people around me, and I just don't feel that way. Like, I'm just a very tight-knit person. You know, there's people who I like hand select, and those are the people who I need around me.
But do you feel like that might be a woman thing? Because I feel like we pick our few, and I don't know, you guys correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, share your experiences down below. But I do feel like as women, we kind of pick our few and we either recycle that or we keep them and we hold them down and we just kind of stick there. And I feel like men are very more like, that's my homie, that's my homie, that's my homie. And I do feel like
that's my homie.
Yeah, and I feel like because men aren't outwardly emotional, like as soon as we in an issue, we call in a homegirl, like what's up? Like I'm finna tell you what's going on.
I see.
I feel like men deal with a lot of things internally, and so because we're so emotional as women, more to, you know, there's emotional men, but like we're at another degree.
Right.
I feel like the community aspect is a little different.
Yeah, I can see that.
But I don't know.
I personally, I always thought it was a me thing, but you might be right about that though.
Yeah.
Because all of the, she's on to something. Because all of the women I know, they do have relatively small circles, but I guess it's just like compared to what you think is big or small.
Because it's like that's our community, and men need their community as well. Men really need community because the mental health rate for men, a lot of them live in darkness, and they don't feel confident enough to share what's going on because, you know, I don't know, I'm not a man, but
I mean,
I did learn a lot from
I will
my
say,
man.
like, as a man, sometimes it's hard to see y'all like click up with y'all girls, you know. I don't have, you know, like me and Chris are cool. We don't talk every day though, you know. And
it's
that's
like guys don't be
our
talking every day
though. Like the guys that I really do hold like dear to my heart, I talk to like maybe once, twice a month for real, you know. But it would be
why
nice
is it like that for you guys?
That's how their relationships last so long. That's why they circle so big.
Yeah,
they don't talk. They don't talk. Ain't nothing to argue about.
You talk too much,
I don't
and then
know.
now
Like
you ain't friends.
Some friends, it's just like it goes so far back that, you know, we know the core of each other, and so whatever's happening, it's just like watching the news, you know. So there's no disconnecting from that emotional bond. But like I guess with newer guys, like you were just saying the other day, how every guy sizes up the dude who they're meeting for the first time. It's I think it's true.
I think it's true too.
It's just like a weird aggression thing, and you know, guys don't like smelling other dudes. You know, I don't want you to smell yourself around me because I'm smelling myself right here. You feel me? You gotta.
So you think it's an ego thing?
Like,
this is my bubble. You know what I mean? And every man essentially wants land and asset in the ideology way. And so I think it's like that. Like I respect other men for going after what they want. And so me personally, I don't want to encroach on another man's like business, because if somebody came in and tried to, you know, start some stuff between us or in my business, I would be upset. You know, I would.
It sounds like keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Oh yeah, no, that's literally how it is.
Well, so you think that's why
literally
men don't talk as often as women do?
I mean, if you know that you got some gold in your house, and you know who in nearby needs some gold, you know who's coming after you, and so you can. Yes, you are gold, my love. But I'm just I don't know. I'm thinking in such a biblical sense right now. Like you would want to know who's in the surrounding areas. So if somebody's coming from that way, I know it's the Philistines. If somebody's coming from that way, I know it's the Pharisees. Like I'm not trying to. I need to guard, you know, and that's like man nature, you know, we're protectors,
and I think that's
providers.
the smart man, because I done dated some dumb ones. Let me tell ya, I'm like, y'all the ones that think things through. Okay,
well, that's the parts of men that I think fail us in society now are the twisted dynamics that we come from. You know, you see a lot more men who are talking like I'm talking and just very aware and not trying to harm, but trying to progress the conversation. But a lot of men come from broken homes where they didn't see men growing, you know, or they come from broken homes where they had men around, but those men came from broken homes. And so they were holding up a facade trying to recreate an idea of what, you know, but perpetuating adverse energy, you know, like doing stuff that they've never seen. And now this kid is restarting a whole new, and then to your point, like, there's not really a conversation for men. They don't share much.
I mean,
and
I
so
was
you
going to
harbor
ask,
that, you
what
know?
is that for you? Because I know everyone's different. What does your release look like?
I've always sort of been this way. So I've been blessed to always sort of have a very wide thinking circle around me. Mm-hmm. In the times that I've been in spaces where that wasn't really the norm, I didn't shy away from it. I just sort of had to learn, like, I can't be as feminist in this space, you know, because it won't be received. It'll be received as like mockery or something like that. And she helped me a lot with that because, you know, I would make jokes just like calling out the absurdity of some of these guys, and it just sounds kind of twisted, you know, like, what are you really thinking, you know? And that's sort of me and my learning, because I just want to be such an advocate for people.
Yeah.
But I just think it's hard for guys to feel comfortable if they never felt comfortable in the home that they grew up in, to say how they felt. They're never gonna feel comfortable walking into a space and everybody's like, yeah,
if you're
good.
aware of that, excuse me, if you're aware of that, do you think that you could facilitate that environment for more of your friends? Because as you just said, you don't think that men feel comfortable enough.
Like, well, yeah, but
if you know that, then why can't you reach out to Chris more often and be like, let's make a space, like, you know?
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean,
I feel like Chris has his like core, kind of like you, where he's like, these are my core. Like, I noticed the way he operates. And then he has his people where it's like, it's my homie. But to me, I'm like, I ain't never really heard this nigga name before. I don't feel like he's your homie like that. Like, when I think of like certain homies, I'm like, like you could pull up to the crib. Like, if you ain't never, like, if I can't call you and be like, pull up on us, or you don't know our baby, like, I don't feel like you're the homie like that. But really. I don't understand the mathematics of men with that.
It's also a little bit of peacekeeping too. You know, because we can all feel each other's aggression a little bit, and you sizing each other up, it's always in the back of the mind. We kind of go a step further to, if you care. There's a lot of men who don't. They go the step further to make people uncomfortable because that makes them feel good in their assertion. But I think
I don't like them kind.
No,
they be trying to be cute. I'd be like, pipe it down. You don't need to show out for us.
Nah, for real.
And we're waiting for the rest of y'all's people to get on board with the intelligent man, the evolved Homo sapien, because it's like there's equality to be discovered. You know, it's not enough to have voting rights. It's not enough to have. It's not even enough to have abortion rights. Like, there's more to be discovered in terms of the interactions, you know, like something that's very interesting to me as we get deeper into our relationship is how I can be friends to women. I never thought about it.
Yeah, you had a lot of female friends when we started.
Yeah,
a lot of women. But you know,
just checking time, we good.
It didn't bother me. Like, it never really bothered me until I got to a place where I became just more aware of myself, and I just started to learn other women. I would always think of men as the problem. I would always think of men as the problem. Like, whenever I would see, So when he had a lot of female friends, I didn't see anything wrong with it, because I'm like, well, I know him and he's not the problem, and generally women aren't the problem. You know, so there can't be a problem. But the older I've gotten, the more I realize, no, women be a problem.
But also the more that I realize too, women are something else. Let me tell you, like, they got their ways of how they can portray themselves as a friend. But you're really trying to get close, so you can have other intentions, and that's why, like, it's very, when you are in a committed relationship, I do feel like you gotta really listen to your girl. Like, if your girl is not one of those,
because you can tell, you can always tell.
We know women. We talk. Like, that's the thing. Like, women talk to women. We know how we operate. I've hung out with all kinds of women. Like, I just know how they get down. And it's not to say everyone's out to like ruin. Some of them be really
sneaky, and that's something I wasn't expecting. We've had homegirls, or he's had coworkers that have actually tried to break us up. Like, wholeheartedly been like, oh yeah, he's my friend, and da-da-da. I'm like, okay, well, nice to meet you. Let's all hang out. Let's do something. And then I realized you just trying to break us up. Like,
but also, I feel like as a woman, right? I find it really funny if you want to be my husband's friend
and not mine,
but not mine, or you want to
that's a no
connect
for
with
me.
my husband
That's
but
a
you
no
don't
for
want to
me.
connect with me. I find that weird, because if I could take myself out of the picture and I could think, oh, if I was single, I have no kids, I have no family, and I meet a married man, what business do I have to want your number,
None.
to want your time, to want your help?
There's too
Why
many
do I need your
people out
help?
here to be ruining
He can help his wife.
situations, right?
I
Right. You don't see the ring.
Yeah, I'm like, I just don't understand.
But you know, that's
that.
one of those things where it's like common sense ain't common. Because I agree with you. Like, if I were single and I was just outside, I can't see myself really being friends with a married man outside of like work or something like that, maybe. But even that, it's like, we're not going nowhere, so.
And then it's like,
we ain't doing it. What you mean?
It's like, out of all the options on the earth, I don't want somebody that's taken, honey.
But sometimes people really just want what you have. Sometimes people really see how good something is that you have, and they have to have it because they see how much you're enjoying it.
And the way I see
miserable.
that
That's a
is,
miserable
if
mindset.
you can have my man, keep him.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the way
never gonna
I
argue
see
it.
it.
If he wants you to, you can have him.
Right.
It's never happened to me, but if you want you back, you're more than welcome to take him.
Why you pointing at me? I don't want her back. I don't want her back. I don't want you back.
And I'm happy here.
I'm good.
I have a happy home. Dang, y'all. We gonna have to wrap this up.
It's crazy.
But I want y'all to come back on my podcast for sure.
Let's do it.
But before we close out, what y'all got coming out? Make it quick.
Oh, well, me and Chris Emmanuel got a great cinematic feat coming out this November.
Yep.
November 11th to be exact, called Splash City.
Okay.
True cinematic spectacle. If you've been missing your hood classics, we brought it back. It's good.
I know that's right.
In addition to that, I got Arcane season 2 coming out. If you like League of Legends,
Oh, great.
saw season 1 for animated series Emmys in 2021. Season 2 is coming out this November. No date yet. It's very under wraps.
Wow.
Super excited
also
about
have
that.
a lot of music coming
Lots
out
of music.
between the two of
Okay.
us.
Yes.
Yeah, we got, and I also have, my family podcast.
Yes.
We're about to wrap up
Teachable
our
Moments.
season, but you can catch it before it ends.
What's your podcast?
It's called Teachable Moments.
Okay,
Teachable
period. Where
Moments
can they
podcast.
find it?
On Instagram, on YouTube, under my Instagram, which is just my name. It's Dajuel.
All right, awesome. Well, thank y'all so much for coming on. You guys, make sure we continue this conversation down below. And if you guys want them in my next episode or episodes to come, let me know, because this was super fun. Thank y'all so much for watching, and we will see y'all in the next episode. Peace out.